أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي خلق الخلائق والأخلاق والأرزاق والأفعال. خلقنا جل وعلا فوضعنا في هذه الدنيا وما تركنا هملا، بل أرسل إلينا نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الذي أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وتركها على محجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أيها الناس، اتقوا الله حق تقاته وكونوا بشرعه متمسكين، حيث قال عز وجل في محكم تنزيله: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أيها المستمعون الكرام، إن دين الإسلام هو الدين الكامل في أحكامه. إنه دين شامل في تشريعاته. أرشد الإسلام إلى أكمل الآداب ونهى عن مساوئ الأفعال ومستقبح الأقوال. يا قوم، إن اللسان من أعظم الجوارح أثراً وخطراً، فمن اجتهد في حفظها كان ذلك من أكبر أسباب السعادة والتوفيق في هذه الدنيا وما بعدها. ثبت في القرآن أن ابن آدم ما يتكلم بكلمة إلا ولها من يراقبها من الملائكة، لأنه محاسب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. أيها المستمعون الكرام، أرشدنا الرسول أيضا حيث قال: من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. رواه البخاري. دققوا النظر في هذه العبارة: فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. أيها الناس، اعلموا وعوا أن الحق قد لا نحتاج إليه بدون النظر إلى نفعه وضرره. لذلك ثبت عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في هديه: من أراد أن يتكلم بكلمة فعليه أو فعليها أن يسأل نفسه: هل الخبر الذي سيخرج منك نافع في المجتمع أو لا؟ لذلك ثبت عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم حيث قال: فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، إن للثرثرة أضرار كثيرة. لذلك ثبت عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث الذي رواه أبو هريرة أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: شرار أمتي الثرثارون والمتشدقون المتفيهقون، وخيار أمتي أحاسنهم أخلاقا. أخرجه البخاري. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May His peace and salutations be bestowed upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one who fought tooth and nail for Islam to get to every corner of the world. I bear witness that He is the last messenger. I also bear witness that none is worthy being worshipped but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whoever is worshipping anything else that isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we consider that the highest level of oppression. I urge you believers to be conscious about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the Islamic guidance is, please consider as you're living on earth, please request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to take your soul unless you're amongst the believers, unless you're amongst those who have totally submitted their will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This evening, I would like to put to your attention that no constitution today in this world will ever be valid unless they consider controlling, regulating our right of speech. If any constitution dares not to control human beings in line with their way of speaking, in line with their way of saying out whatever they wish they want, trust me, that alone could be a factor for a society to be immoral. That's why today, I want to dedicate today's sermon to check the Islamic guidance in line with the way we control our tongues, with the way we control whatever we speak, with the way we control whatever we say out. Probably many of us don't know the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in our tongues. It's your tongue that can destroy someone without touching them. It's your tongue that can demoralize someone without physically touching them. It's your tongue that may cause death within the society without physically killing them. It's your tongue that can do that a lot of harm to people within the society, and that's the power that is in the tongue. And in the same approach, it's your tongue that can motivate someone to be a better Muslim tomorrow without actually physically touching them. It's your tongue that can give morale to someone, encourage them to work better, to go and work because of whatever you're saying out. Don't you really think we need to check out the Islamic guidance in line with whatever we say out? We are in a society where people believe just because they have a right of speech, they deserve to be heard. And that's not the Islamic guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, He knew that maybe this era will be here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ما يلفظ من قول. No human being will ever utter out anything, good or bad, إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. Get assurance that whatever you're saying out is being noted. And it's not being noted just for the sake of being noted. The reason as to why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting their angels to note whatever you're saying out, it's because you are going to be answerable. You're going to have answers if at all Allah asks you questions that are in line with whatever you uttered out. And that's the discipline. A Muslim doesn't just say out a statement without considering that. If every Muslim considers that as a principle, that before I say out anything, good or bad, Allah is going to note that down, and the impact of whatever you're saying out is going to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please, let's know that. And it's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directly disciplining us as Muslims, believers, those who like to be morally upright, to please check whatever we say out. And that's why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in an authentic tradition, he was like, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir. If you claim that you believe in Allah and in the last day of judgment, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. Please, consider saying out, speaking good. If you don't have anything good to say out, the better option is silence. This is what I enjoy most. Who told you that just because you know the truth, it deserves our ears? Do you even know the qualities of truth? Al-Haq, the truth. Some of the qualities of what they call truth or facts. It's a statement or maybe information that is directed to a particular group at the right time and also in the right way, with the right intention. But if you dare say out the so-called truth without considering that, trust me, all you're going to do to the society is injustice, and you're going to cause havoc. And that's why Prophet was like, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا. You really want to tell me that out of the vocabulary of the Prophet, he never had the word haqqan? And if we are like, please focus and analyze the statements of the Prophet, this is what we mean. That even when you're having the truth, it's not enough. It's not reason enough for you to say it out. The second step is it good? Do we need it at that particular time? If the answer is yes, please say it out. How many of we are affecting people psychologically in the name of saying out truth without even considering how good it is? How many of we are considering saying out the so-called truth and facts without even checking out how you're delivering it to whoever is receiving it? And you're a nice Muslim? The Prophet is your Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So if you're following him, this is the guidance for God's sake. Please check out, is whatever you're saying good? If the answer is no, please keep it with your own self. Aren't you aware that it's very possible for a father to say one statement to their own children, and wallahi al-azim, it will be the starting point of their not being well in this dunya? Aren't you aware that it's only one statement from a husband to a wife, and the wife will never trust their husband till they die? Aren't you aware that the power in the tongue, it's only a statement from a wife to a husband, and the husband will never ever trust the wife again because of that one statement? And Islam is guiding us. Why do you even get to that level of falling victim of all those bad dilemmas, situations, when you have the ability of calling it off? That's why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in another authentic tradition, he warned us, if we need our society to be righteous, to be in the right path, Prophet was like, shiraru ummati, the worst of the worst within my people, الثرثارون فمن هم المتوسعون في الكلام بدون احتراز ولا احتياط. These are the people who are good at speaking out without even knowing their limits and boundaries. And the Islamic stand is, before you say out whatever you're going to say out, are you the right person to say it out? Or you're going to console yourself, motivate yourself indirectly, claiming that you're a concerned citizen? Really? Does that really mean that just because you're a concerned citizen, you come to my family and throw your verdict in it? It doesn't make sense. Just because you're a concerned citizen, it doesn't mean that you're going to enter any company and you give in a verdict. No, it's not the direction of Islam. Islam is like everyone, with all their positions they're in, they must have this as a discipline. Before you say out anything, please know your limits. You won't fall under the people that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us. And if you have them, please be far away from them. Nothing good comes out of them. If you're a kid, you're going to know your limits when you're talking to your parents. If you're an employer, you're going to know your limits when you're dealing with your employees. If you're the boss or maybe employee, you're going to know your limits as you're speaking to your boss. If you're the leader, you're going to know the limits too. If you're being led, guided, you will also know your limits too. And that's the guidance of Islam. Imagine your son not knowing the limits as they are speaking to you. What do you do to them? Imagine your wife not knowing her limits if they are talking to you. What do you do? Imagine if your husband doesn't even consider knowing his limits when they are talking to their wives. What do you do as a wife? It will never make sense. And that's the guidance of Islam. I request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us that understanding. I believe if we adopt to that, we are going to live in harmony in today's society. Abebitiibwa abampuliriza, amatenda amajjuvu ga Allah, tumusinza era tumwebaza olw'okututonda n'atusiimira eddiini Busiraamu. Mbakubiriza tumusinze kuba yasaanidde okuba nga asinzibwa. Akawungeezi k'olwaleero w'obanga oli mulamu okimanyi bulungi, tewaliwo ssemateeka yonna bantu gye baliteekawo okuggyako nga bakitunuulira ekyokuba nga bakungira abantu n'okuba nga batangira abantu okumala googera. Era bw'otunuulira ssemateeka yali ekimye ebirowoozo, essaawa eno babiteekako ebirowoozo nti omwana Adamu ono yeetaaga okuba nga ateekebwawo limits ze, amanye w'aba ayogera alina kukomawa. Naye ffe ng'Abasiraamu tulina constitution yaffe esinga obukulu, ye ya Kulaani eyo. Nga tetunnaba na kulinda constitution yekutwala, ffe Kulaani egamba ki? Allah tegeeza mu Qur'ani ey'ekitiibwa, ma yalfidhu min qawlin, teriyo muntu alyogera kigambo kyonna nga kirungi oba kibi, illa ladayhi raqibun atid, okuggyako nga Allah yamuteekako malayika 2 ezigenda okuwandiika ebintu ebyo. Ng'ensonga lwaki ziwandiika si kulagako bulazi ku lunaku lw'enkomerero, wabula Katonda kusimba mu maaso akubuuze nti Hussein ssebo ng'oyogera kino naye kyakosa omuntu okyogerako ki? Ensonga lwaki malayika ziwandiika. Kati Omusiraamu bw'ategeera ekikolwa ng'ekyo, butuufu weetaaga kutuba 2 okitegeere nti oba tonnaba kwogera kitunuuliremukko kyoyogera ekyo kirungi. Nange kennyini kamwa kwogera wano bw'otalowooza nti olw'okuba ndi mu maaso wano nina ebbeetu ery'okubavuma kati mwe abali wano. Era ne kansimattuka wano ne nvaamu ekivumo tekinzigyako miggo wa Katonda. Era Katonda bw'aba waakumbuuza ti ssebo ng'oyimirira mu maaso g'abantu ng'obavumamu awo, lw'obavumira ki? Omusiraamu bw'ategeera ekintu ekyo ategeera titamala gwogera bwogezi bigambo. Tuba tukyali awo, nabbi naye n'atuyigirawo n'okutugayidinga n'avaamu ebigambo ebirungi ti man kaana yu'minu billahi, bw'oba weeyita nti oli mukkiriza ng'era okkiriza mu Katonda oyo gw'osinza emirundi 5, wal yawmil akhir, ng'okkiriza nti n'olunaku lw'enkomerero buli omu lwagenda okubalibwa gye luli, falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut, bambi yogeranga birungi, bw'oba tobiina sirika, tewali agenda kukunenya. Naye olowooza mu bigambo bya nabbi bwe tusiiba tuwaana sallallahu alayhi wasallam nti bw'ayogera kigambo kye kimu kyokka kibeeramu amakulu mangi, olowooza yali talina mu kamwa ke kigambo mazima? Ani yatugamba nti amazima gasaana buli matu? Si we kiri. Kye bayita amazima bwe bubaka obusaanidde abantu ab'enjawulo ng'ate oyina bo baweera mu kaseera akatuufu nga n'engeri gy'ogenda obutuusaamu nayo nsengeke. Naye bameka mufu aboogera amazima nga bamaze okutunira ebintu ebyo ebisatu? Kubanga amazima ago ge gagenda okuyingiza omuntu ow'olugambo omuliro. twandibadde tumunenyeza ki nga ate ayogera mazima ge, anti ayogedde kye nayogedde ku ggwe nga toliiwo, ayogedde amazima ge, naye ekigenda omukubya emiggo ku lunaku lw'enkomerero kwe kubanga yakisaasaanya n'ekigendererwa ekikyamu okusobola okwonoona society, kyekimubonereza n'ejjana nabbi n'agimugobamu. Kati kye tuyigamu awo nabbi ng'alinga atutendeka ti ne bw'oba olina amazima g'olina, ekyo kyokka tekimala nti gasaana amatu gaffe. Osooka nga kitwala ku leve ey'okubiri. Amazima ago malungi, bw'onaamala ogoogera ogenda leka ki mu society, oba bw'onaagoogera ogenda tuleka mu fitina. Kati enjigiriza y'obusiraamu ng'etutendeka, tolabanga buli bba mu maka bw'ategeera ebigambo ebyo agenda kusengeka ebigambo by'anaagamba mukyala we, banaayomba ddi. Buli mukyala bw'anaasengeka ebigambo obulungi ng'ayogera ne bbaawe, banaayomba ddi. Guidance y'obusiraamu bwetuwa. Gwe tolabanga eddiini y'obusiraamu osaanidde ogyeragiremu yesinga. Nabbi yatuuka n'okuba ng'atuwa guidance mu hadithi ey'okubiri ng'atulabula nti omusiraamu yenna asoma obubaka bwa Nabbi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam akimanye ti shiraaru ummati, abantu abakyasinze okuba abaakabenje ku mulembe gwange Nabbi yanyumya athartharun, be yasookerako be bantu be bayita bathartharun. Be baliwa? Be bantu abagaziya ebigambo byabwe nga boogera ne batamanya na kkomo lyabwe. Bw'abeera mwana wo ng'ayogera naawe ng'omuzadde nga tategedde kkomo lye nti mwana gy'oli. Bw'abeera muzadde ng'ayogera n'omwana we n'asukka ekkomo. Kati nga nabbi alinga atulabula nti omusiraamu tamala googera mu mbeera eyo n'otandika n'okunoonyayo bwe weesigamira ebisubi bye weekwatako, okunoonya stability ey'okubaako ekigambo ky'oyogera. Naye ffe bw'onaayogeranga, ffe ng'obusiraamu tubuuza oyogedde ngaani, okakasa ky'oyogedde gwe omutuufu ow'okukyogera. Eyo discipline obusiraamu bugituwa. Era bw'otanoonyaayo bugambo bw'oyokalizaamu n'ogamba nkyogedde nga concerned citizen, kuba buli omu kye yeekwasa. Okubanga oli concerned citizen tekitegeeza nti oleeta ebiragiro mu maka gange, obwa concerned obwo buli ku nze olwo kuba maka gange. Bw'obeera concerned citizen togenda kutambula mu buli kampani otandike okuteekayo amateeka. Ekyo bwe kiba kisobola okutegeerekeka, ndowooza kiba kyangu nnyo era okutegeerekeka ti buli muntu yenna mu ddaala ly'olimu oyina limits zo mu bigambo by'oyogera. Ng'era nabbi alinga atutegeeza ti bw'obeeranga n'ekitiibwa kyo kyonna, position yonna bambi kikonsideringe nga tonnavaamu kagambo, osookanga kwebuuza ky'oyogedde ekyo gwasaanidde okukyogera. Ansa bw'ebeeranga nno ogenda kifunamu obulabe n'wegabanga ge mazima. Saba Allah abeere ng'atuwa entegeera eyo. Aqulu qawli hadha wastaghfirullaha li wa lakum wa lisaa'iril muslimina min kulli dhanbin fastaghfiruhu innahu huwa at-tawwabur rahim. المحمود هو الله والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I would like to wind today's sermon with 3 factors. Factor number 1, please, the biggest mistakes are from much talking. If that's a fact, at times, please consider choosing silence. No one is going to blame you for being silent, but everyone will have to blame you if you say out bad to them. And before you speak, you're respected. It's after you speaking that we are going to position you among different groups of people. That's one. Secondly, please, as you speak bad to people, as you're not considering filtering whatever you're saying out, please be ready for the consequences, just in case they happen. Why are you speaking bad to people? You're torturing them psychologically because of your phone and data. You're torturing people without your knowledge. And that impact alone, Allah is going to ask you for God's sake. Even me, myself here, if I say out a statement and all it's doing is not making you a better Muslim and it's demoralizing you from being a better Muslim, that alone, Allah is to question me about that. Please, let's consider that. And lastly, please, before you remember that Allah ordered us to forgive and to pardon you as you're speaking bad, always remember that Allah guided you first, not to speak bad. Because we have a tendency of abusing people, disrespecting them, demeaning them, and the following day, you're busy reciting traditions from the Prophet and different verses for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guiding them to forgive. It's right. They are authentic verses and traditions. But there are also authentic verses and traditions that guide you, please, not to affect them in that line. They are human beings. Maybe they need some time and process to reach to forgiving you. Maybe if you put that as a discipline, you won't affect anyone negatively by your speech. Lastly, today, the nation is electing their leaders at the mosque level, Muslims specifically. It's a role of Muslims to vote leaders you trust. You have a right to exercise that, and it's Islamic. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us all to exercise that in peace and harmony, because that's what we need if we need a society to be perfect, and if we need such values and disciplines to be within our societies. I request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward the management of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council for that initiative. I request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them guidance in line with executing that. Abebitiibwa abampuliriza, maliriza ebigambo byange n'ensonga 3. Ensonga esookera ddala, akabenje akasinga obunene kali mu kwogera nnyo. Teri yali ayogedde nnyo nga kyomumanyiiko, okujjako nga naawe we tukufunza okyogera bwatu nti mu butuufu byayogera olumu awaba. Kati bw'otegeera ebigambo ebyo, olumu kyuzingako, salawo osirikengako. After all osirika, buli muntu akuwa ekitiibwa. Naye ssebo omala kwogera, nnyabo omala kwogera, ne tumanya we tukuteeka ti omuntu ono mu butuufu byayogera abitegeera, omala kwogera, wabula tewali agenda kujajinga ng'osirise. Ekyokubiri, bw'ogaananga okuba ng'oyogeranga bulungi n'abantu, tegekanga omutima gwo, tegekanga omubiri gwo okusobola okuba ng'ogumira abantu abo okuyisanga mu mbeera gye banaakuyisaamu. Bw'onaaba bwe mulanga n'obavuma, lwaki olowooza nnyo nti omwana wo gw'owemula enkya n'eggulo oyagala enkeera aleme kuba omulago gwe ng'omuzadde nga gwamuwemula? Kati tegekanga nnyo omubiri gwo, naawe omwana we yennyini akikuweemu awo, lw'ogenda okukakasa ti mu butuufu toyogeranga bigambo ebyo mu maaso g'abantu abo. N'ekisemberayo ddala, bambi nga tonnaba kujjukira mu kunyiizako okw'abantu nti Allah yabalagira bakusonyiwe, jjukiranga nnyo nti yasooka kulagira ggwe olemenga kubavuma, olemenga kubanyooma, olemenga kubanyiiza ng'oyogera. Naye bw'obuukanga siteepu Allah gwe yasookerako n'akutegeeza tonyiizanga bantu, yogera bulungi. Nga tonnabaako kyoyogera, sooka okisengejje. Eyo siteepu bw'ogibuuka nga tonnaba kubasomera aya na hadiisi za nnabbi ziraga nti bakusonyiwe, eyo irimu girekera abawalimu bagambe omuntu ono akusonyiwe. Oba oli awo kinaatuyamba. Bw'onaategeera bw'otyo, ogenda kukendeezaamuko abantu bw'onyooma, ogenda kukendeezaamuko okwogera obwogezi okwo nga tomaze kutunuulira kabenje kayinza kuvaamu ng'oyogedde. Saba Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atuwe entegeera eyo. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وارض اللهم عن الأربعة الخلفاء، منهم أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا يسر لنا ولا تعسر علينا، اللهم يسر لنا ولا تعسر علينا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اجعلنا من الناجحين ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الظالمين. يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار ثبت قلوبنا على دينك وعلى طاعتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.